Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast, the official podcast of Left Wing Lock and a member of the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm Devin Davidson, your host. With me, as always, Bruce Gunther, John Enns, and Tyler Holman. Welcome back, boys.
Gonna make me.
Okay, good stuff. I got it right that time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but Bruce, as you said earlier, that does sound official.
It does. It sounds great.
We've made some strides in our first 6 or 7 months here, so it's pretty cool. This week almost seems like it's like business as usual. It's almost a letdown. We don't have Mike with us this week. No big announcements. It's just kind of us four knuckleheads talking hockey, but that's okay.
Tyler almost had a name change.
Yeah. God. Good thing for editing, hey? It's been a long weekend. I guess, yeah, we started a bit late here. It's Grey Cup. We'll just mention that quickly. Bruce, I watched overtime. That was all I caught. But you said it was a good game.
Good game, disappointing ending.
Were you cheering for Hamilton or what?
I was hoping Hamilton would win, yes.
You guys from Saskatchewan don't like when Winnipeg wins, or what?
It's not really.
It's kind of a thing, yeah.
Yeah, we don't enjoy that. No. But you know what? Yeah. Had Winnipeg won, I would have felt better about losing to them. You know what I'm saying? So
well, Edmonton lost to everybody this year, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, they had a rough season. Rough season.
Yeah. Switching gears. Speaking of Edmonton, Tyler, how bad are the Edmonton Oilers right now?
Yeah, they suck too.
I think the Elks could beat the Oilers right now.
So bad. It's
possible. It is definitely possible.
God. This team, I'd say they find new and creative ways to let you down every single season.
Well, they played pretty well last night, except for Koskinen pretty much shoveled the last goal into his own net.
Two.
Well, the second goal we probably should have stopped, and the third one, it's like, here, have a puck.
Yeah,
it's like, oh god.
Yeah, I'm pinning 2 of those on Koskinen.
Yeah.
So no Koskinen for Vezina messages out this week?
No, we can knock off that talk right away. Tyler, you're not driving that bus anymore, buddy. I'm taking over my shift. I'm driving the Koskinen bus this week. It's
you can. Well, first of all, it was a train, but you can fight me for it because
whatever.
I'm still the captain.
Doesn't matter. 7 days later, I'm just like, my God, get this guy out of here. Yeah,
it's what happens when he plays too much.
Yeah, it is.
Yep,
it is. The last couple games they've been in the games. They could have won both games, but like it's just a couple mistakes, right? Like if Koskinen doesn't let in that one where he's out of his nets, and if he stops that one that he should have stopped, we're talking about a different story, right? Like they probably get at least a point in overtime or something. But
and that last one's a bit of a brain fart, right?
Yeah. He is a brain fart, but they're not 9-1 good, and they're not 7-8 bad. They're somewhere kind of in the middle there, and it's not all Koskinen either. Like Hyman missed a wide open net in the first 10 games.
Yep,
he would have buried that every time. McDavid in the slot there with a one-timer, he would have picked the corner. So I don't know. They're just they're missing a couple pieces that they were missing before. That third center. Obviously, left D would be really helpful right now. And a goalie, because Koskinen sucks.
Well, and too, if it wouldn't have been for Koskinen early in the game, Carolina would have been up by a touchdown before even the end of the first period, the way they were going. So
the problem is, though, is that he makes saves that you shouldn't make, and then he lets in the goal that is just terrible. Like Niederreiter's goal, that was awful.
It should not have gone in.
No,
that was a muffin. And yeah, he changed the angle and did a little toe drag, but from that far out and to let it go through you, it's terrible.
Not good.
He sucks.
I guess, just since we're sort of on that topic anyway about people on our shit list, we should probably move on to our first segment here, John's list. For anyone
I was gonna say, are we changing the list over to your guys' list today?
Well,
Or?
Koskinen will be on all of our lists, or at least mine and Tyler's. So, but for anyone that's been listening to our podcast for a while, you guys know John's list is basically his shit list of players past and present. So, John, let's get right into it, man. Have at her. Who's on the list this week?
This week we have 2 players on the list. Vincent Lacavillier and Marty St. Louis.
You just made the list!
Yeah. St. Louis because he got all the hype for being a small player. Just because you're small doesn't mean you should get extra attention. Sorry, Tyler. And Devin. And Lacavillier because his team got scored on a lot more when he was on the ice. Looking at some of his numbers, like he was negative 140 throughout his career.
I didn't know that.
And the guy just looks funny to me. I don't know. I think my biggest problem with both of them is they were on that early to mid 2000s Tampa team, and I just didn't like the team for no apparent reason. So
That's fair. Was it Tortorella?
I don't know.
Oh God.
No, I love Torts. Other than his stupid comments every once in a while, but no.
Yeah, shoot.
I don't know. Torts is never on my list.
Okay, well, not to get off topic, but should we talk
No.
about Tort's comments on the
No.
the
Nobody
Michigan
should
goal?
feed into it.
Yeah, like,
He's an idiot. He's a dinosaur.
Thoughts?
He's stupid.
I see where he's
I
coming
get
from, but
that-
yeah, no, it's completely right.
I get that ESPN
Fair enough.
Totally out of touch.
doesn't really like. They're not TSN. They're not Sportsnet. They're trying to have something to talk about, and I don't know. Like what he said was so stupid, and I don't know that when you're on one of those shows, you don't want to agree with everybody. You want to say something controversial. You want to say something different than everybody else. But that was so stupid. I don't even think like that wasn't even scripted. That is just him being dumb. Like, yeah, in the late 90s, 2000s, you'd
Right
get
off
your
the
head
cuff.
taken off. I don't know if he knows that, but this is 2021. So we're a couple years past that, and it's kind of the thing, like to play with
Sure.
skill. It's a regular season game in December. Like if this was a playoff game, maybe I would probably cross-check somebody in the head just for doing it. Yeah, you'd never
He'd
have
never had
to
the
do
time to do
it.
it.
Like Milano wouldn't be alone right there.
sure.
He wouldn't be yelling Michigan in the middle of the play.
Yeah,
Like, and two, you look at the play, right? There's Zegras behind the net, Milano in front of the net, and there's 4 Buffalo players watching. It's like, oh, what are these guys gonna do? Oh shit! You mean I'm on the ice? I'm gonna play? It's like they're not even close to either one of the players. It's like they're like, here, just do
That's
something.
the
We
other
want to
thing.
watch.
If it wasn't
It's like,
Buffalo, does that happen?
yeah. It was,
Maybe if
probably not. If that's Carolina or something
Maybe
like
if
that,
it's
that
Edmonton.
Florida, that
Okay,
doesn't happen.
sure.
He doesn't get the time to make that play.
Tyson Berry would probably stand there and watch
Yeah.
it, but
okay. Well, I guess we. Okay, well, that's all good stuff. We did get off topic, but John, thanks for John's list this week. I will say, I like Marty St. Louis, if only just because he's a short guy.
Nothing wrong with
and
short
he
guys.
had lots of skill. And nothing wrong with short guys.
nah, fuck
Probably
him.
like Goudreau too.
No, I do not,
Fuck him.
actually. He would be on my list.
See.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Ah,
He's on mine, but he's not worth talking
Yeah,
about. so
well, maybe at a later date.
Jeez.
maybe.
Okay, let's move on to hockey news and injury updates presented by Sports Interaction, Canada's odds maker, providing competitive odds on all sports. Follow the link in our show notes or at fantasyhockeyhacks.com to get up to $125 in free bets. Tyler, I was mentioning to Bruce and John off air here. I'm really excited. Left Wing Lock actually has a complete up-to-date list on their website of all players on COVID
Yay.
protocol. So I could ramble off everyone individually, but just so our listeners know, you can go to that link in our show notes, and it'll tell you who's on
Yeah,
COVID
do that.
protocol. Bruce thought I should read that off. I don't know
do
if
they
I
have
want to do
everything
that, but
listed for?
so we'll
Lower body
just
injuries
move into
too?
the news here.
Do they have a link for that?
I don't know if it's
For groins?
specifically things for groins and that,
All right.
but they actually, you know what? They got all their player updates are there. So probably it'll say lower body. It won't say groin. It'll say lower body for you. Yeah. So lots of news this week, starting with Alain Vigneault and Michel Therrien. They were relieved of their duties in Philadelphia. We kind of all saw that coming. Same thing in Vancouver with Travis Green and Jim Benning. We talked a bit about that last week, but I mean, it needed to happen in Philly too. I think they won. Did they win on whatever night they played? Oh, was that Friday? Friday night? I'm trying to think. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but they did win. They were 8-2, I think, in the last 10. So, good for them to figure it out. Alexander Barkov was back this week. He promptly scored a goal in his return and then left the game early. And he is listed as out right now. So, not a surprise. Alexander Barkov's kind of got a history of being a bit of a Band-Aid boy, as fantastic as he is. Let's talk about the Dallas Stars. We finally got some clarity this week on the goaltending situation. Ben Bishop was sent down to the AHL on a conditioning stint. He played one game, got lit up like a Christmas tree, was recalled, and then placed on LTIR. We later found out that he's not going to return. He's going to be placed on LTIR and essentially retiring. So unfortunate news there, but I guess now we do know it's going to be Holtby, Ottinger, most likely, and they're either going to waive or trade Khudobin. So, thoughts?
Well, it's nice to have some clarity, but feel bad for Bishop. It would have been nice to see him back in the league.
Yeah, and he's been really good throughout his career. I saw there was a release on social media today. I think it was the NHL.
Ottawa.
He's in the top 10 for all-time save percentage. I think it was like .923 throughout his career. So dealt with lots of injuries, right? But yeah, it's pretty impressive. So all the best to Ben Bishop and congrats on a great career. But good to have some clarity, like you said, Bruce, in Dallas. JT Compher was back on the ice. Actually made his return. I think he scored in his game back after injury. Jason Spezza had an in-person hearing for his knee to the head of Neil Pionk. Pionk had a phone hearing for his knee-on-knee incident, and Simmons received a fine in that same game. It got ugly. Pionk was suspended 2 games.
He
should have got 6 games for Jason Spezza.
He should have got a cash bonus for doing
we did run a poll on Twitter. Most people felt, I think, it should have been less than 6 games.
Pionk.
What was your guys' take on it?
I hope he gets more.
The annoying part is guys like that, like he is like 2021's version of a rat.
I actually, I can't stand Pionk, so
I
didn't mind that at all.
You do anything to him and he flops. Should have Spezza dive bombed his face with his knee? Probably not, but it was awesome. And the reason why that even happens, is the ref screwed that up and didn't call anything in the first place on Sandin. No. Like, if you don't get a penalty in the game and after the game you get a 2-game suspension, especially in the NHL, like, you did something really bad that should have been called.
Yeah.
And if you call that, he's probably not getting dive bomb with a knee to the face. So Spezza should get a cash bonus and I don't know, a free trip to Tahiti or something.
Yeah. It's just it's frustrating because he's a player who doesn't have any suspension history, like nothing. Been in the league a long time, and they kind of threw the book at him, right? It was strange. There's a lot of inconsistency this week, like just guys being hit from behind and no calls being made. Chris Russell, right, got pasted to the boards. No call there. He's out now for a bit. McDavid got 5 in a game for pretty much the same hit. Like, there's not a lot of consistency right now. The Department of Player Safety is, I don't know. They just need to figure it out. It's brutal.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Pionk fan, but I'm really not a fan of what Spezza did. Like that, he went out of his way to make that hit. That's why I think he should get more than 6 games for that, because I may not like the type of player Pionk is, but
Yeah.
I don't like what Spezza did.
Yeah,
more
very
than that.
rational thought,
That
but I
was brutal.
can't get on board.
Yeah,
Fuck him.
I totally agree with you, Bruce. Except for my hatred for Pionk it exceeds how bad that play was from Spezza.
No.
So I'm hoping Kenny Holland trades for him.
Oh God,
Oilers could use a defenseman like that.
we actually could. That's the sad thing, but anyway,
Just not
just
that
not
one.
that one. Robert Thomas is considered day-to-day with lower body injury. Tyler Toffoli is going to miss 8 weeks with after undergoing hand surgery. Jonathan Huberto was the NHL's first star of the week, followed by Victor Hedman and Jake Guentzel. Huberto led the NHL with 8 assists and 9 points in 3 contests. Jordan Eberle and Jaden Schwartz returned for the Seattle Kraken earlier this week. Tom Wilson scored his 100th career NHL goal against the Anaheim Ducks. And then Wilson was injured later in the week. I'm just trying to find my notes on where that was. That was, sorry guys, December 10th here. Suffered an upper body injury. That was on Friday against Pittsburgh. Mitch Marner was placed on IR by the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had an MRI. Recovery is approximately 3 to 4 weeks. Should be back on the ice soon, according to Coach Keefe.
So was that, did he actually just run into Muzzin, or did Muzzin actually hit him? Because this happened in practice, didn't it?
Yeah, they didn't actually show the clip. Like, I
Probably
just,
too embarrassing to show.
well, yeah, they probably. I think from what I heard and read, it looks like there was some contact initiated by Muzzin, and Marner was pissed about it. Well, he was, like we talked about it last week. Marner was just giving it to Muzzin, and so I don't know exactly what happened, but it probably shouldn't have, and now Marner's out for a month. So
Don't talk back to your much bigger defenseman. It's pretty simple.
yeah, exactly. China is going to participate in the 2022 Beijing Olympics in Group A, which includes Canada, the U.S., and Germany. Yeah, this is interesting.
It's gonna be good.
Oh God, do you think
It's going to be ugly.
so? Team Canada and Team USA, I have to think they're going to implement some sort of rule internally. They're going to have, after X number of goals, you've got to make 3 or 4 passes before you can shoot on goal. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't see Canada or the U.S. for that matter scoring 20 goals every time they play China.
I can.
Or am I out to do you think they'll do it? Do you think they'll just run the score up on China?
Goals for and against is a tiebreaker in the Olympics. They'll go for it. They'll run up the score until... Absolutely. If it comes down to Canada and U.S. for the first place, and let's say they're tied in wins and losses, it goes then to goals for and against. Absolutely, they're going to run the score up. We're going to see who can win by 2 converted touchdowns.
Oh, man.
Absolutely, they're going to run the score up.
Yeah, you might be right, Bruce. Oh, hey, Tyler, welcome back. We had some technical difficulties there for a second.
I don't know what happened.
We were just chatting, Tyler, about the Olympics. China's going to participate, and they're going to be in Group A with Canada, the U.S., and Germany. What's your take on it?
Germany's gonna destroy them 10-0, and it's gonna be not even fun to watch. Like, you're just gonna have to avoid it. So
Yeah.
Canada will probably
Draisaitl
beat
with
them.
the double hat trick.
Yeah, Canada will probably beat them 16-0. Like, I'll call it right now. I'm probably gonna skip that game, but
Yeah, I don't think many people will be watching it. Yeah. Good for them to participate, I guess, but it's going to get ugly. Speaking of ugly, Jujhar Khaira was stretchered off the ice in Tuesday's contest after taking a hit from Jacob Trouba. Not a good scene there. Obviously, we talked about this earlier, guys. Khaira's got a history of concussion problems, and apparently he's okay, but it didn't look good. I think the hit itself, I'm not going to call it a dirty hit. And then there was the next one against MacKinnon, right? So there was 2 in 2 nights from Trouba. He answered the bell for both hits. The MacKinnon one especially, he kept his arm in. I felt like it was shoulder to chest. MacKinnon had his head down. Khaira had his head down. I don't know. What's your take, Tyler? Did you see a dirty hit there in either instance?
The one on MacKinnon, if you noticed, his head doesn't snap back. The one on Jujhar, his head was down, but if you slow it down, his head is almost back level. And if you stop the frame where his shoulder hits him in the chin and his head snaps back, I understand you can get a concussion from being hit hard in the chest. You don't have to be hit in the head, especially with a concussion history. But for people saying that the head wasn't the first point of contact, from every angle that I seen, it was the first point of contact. He was out before he even hit the ice. I don't know. I think it's not 10 years ago where you're supposed to have to keep your head up. I think something that's worth looking at, and it's going to be kind of controversial and kind of at your own choosing for the refs, which already are terrible at doing that on their own. Something that's similar to the NFL, where there's a penalty for hitting a defenseless player.
Yeah. Something
like that could be something that you look at. I'm a little bit worried that it might take hitting even more out of the game than it already is.
Yeah.
But if a guy has his head down to light him up like that, where you can see him like plant and lunge forward into him to explode through him, I don't know. And I know it looked bad, and that's not really where my opinion comes from. It's because he hit him in the chin first. You don't like seeing that, so. No,
and I'll agree with you. I thought the Trouba one or the Khaira one looked worse for sure than the MacKinnon one. And I think like he brought his arm up maybe a bit. I don't know. I just saw it at regular speed. So I didn't really, to me it didn't look like it was the principal point of contact, but I'd have to go back and look at it. Hopefully, I guess anyways, Khaira's okay, right? Like you don't like to see that kind of stuff, but, and then too, like, I'll just skip ahead here, but tonight there was another hit. Jacob McDonald got stretchered off the ice. He took a hit from Ryan Lomberg in Florida. So that one was not good too. That's a few hits now this week that things are just kind of two guys stretchered off the ice. Which, to your point, Tyler, it's not 2001 anymore and Scott Stevens isn't out there, but they're still hitting in the game. We talked about the Michigan goal. Trevor Zegras, like that's got to be a candidate for goal of the year.
That was awesome.
Yep. Sorry, Torts. We're all in favor of that goal.
Absolutely. If you get the time and the space to do that, do it.
Well,
Torts,
and then this. Sorry,
Torts isn't listening. He's a dinosaur. He doesn't even know what podcasts are.
That's probably true. Yeah. But it's funny because I saw on Twitter this week, Kaprizov, he tried something similar. He tried a Michigan goal this week after seeing the Zegras one, and there's somebody else that tried it too. So we're going to see more of it. Guys are going to keep trying it. They're more creative and more skilled now than they've ever been. So it's just going to happen. You're going to see it.
Well, McDavid tried the lacrosse-style goal in the Carolina game. He just went off his stick.
Yeah. Casey Middlestat left a game with injury this week as well after coming back. No further update on him. Darcy Kemper returned for the Colorado Avalanche. He got the start against the New York Rangers. Pavel Francouz actually was recalled. I think that was today. He was backing up Kemper.
We'll talk Grab him now if he's available in your league.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked lots about Kemper and his injury histories, so I would have, if I'm a Kemper owner, I'm grabbing Francouz for sure.
Absolutely.
Brett Pesce and Tony DeAngelo were out of COVID protocol. Jake Guentzel's considered. Sorry, Bruce, what's that?
I was going to say Pesce and DeAngelo are out of protocol, but they can't join the team because their team is in Canada and they can't cross the border.
Yes.
So they have to wait till they're back in States this week. Tuesday, I think, is their next game.
Okay. And we'll talk about another Kane, Jacob Slavin, here in our waiver wire pickups because he's been pretty incredible. But Jake Guentzel's considered week to week with an upper body injury. He's placed on IR, I think, retroactive to December 6th. Pittsburgh can't catch a break. It's frustrating. John, you just picked up Guentzel.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, but yeah, I'm running out of IR slots again, so. Well, I ran out of IR slots again, so.
Do you have 4 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy.
I got six guys out right now.
I have 4 guys out.
I think half my roster's on IR or just whatever. It's brutal, but
Day to day, but they never play.
yeah. The Arizona Coyotes may be locked out of Gila River Arena for delinquent bills. I think they were paid up shortly after. But what a shit show in the desert, as per usual.
Well, they didn't pay the rent. They paid the fees, but they didn't pay the rent.
Yeah.
So it's not over yet.
They're a joke.
Like, can you kick an owner out of the league because he's an idiot?
Well, they've had 4 of them in like the last 10 years. They're kind of running out. I know Bettman's still kind of the owner, but
They just need to move him to Houston. Just get it over with.
yeah.
And I think I read that Bettman's basically doubling down and just saying, like, we're not moving them. It was just, I mean, what's he supposed to say? But so frustrating.
Behind the scenes, though, he cannot be happy with whoever the group is that runs the Coyotes right now, because optically that is a terrible look for the team, because they're trying to make this team somewhat relevant again, and they're in their 46th rebuild now, and however many years they've been in Arizona, and it's just, to have an owner like that does this is just an idiot.
It's just, honestly, it's kind of it's embarrassing for the league, just the amount of stuff that's gone on with the Coyotes.
Yeah.
They just got to get him moved. I'm just looking at these photos you sent me, Tyler. Yeah, I agree that the principal point of contact is definitely Jujhar's chin, like right on the button.
He's bent over right in.
The shoulder's like buried into his chin. It hasn't even touched his chest yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Nazem Kadri left Wednesday's game with a lower body injury. He is still day-to-day. I would assume he's going to be back sometime next week, though. Kuznetsov left Thursday's practice early with a lower body injury. Excuse me. I don't have an update on him. Have you guys heard anything on Kuznetsov? I thought he played recently.
He did. He played on the weekend.
Thank you. Cody Cece's out of COVID protocol. Didn't make any difference, though, over the past few games.
He played well, though.
Yeah, Cece's been fine this year, right? Like, you can't... The only thing we can really bitch about is his 4-year contract.
Yeah, the 3.25 is... Yeah.
Pricey.
Still not as bad as Russell at, 4? What was he, 4 times 4?
No, he's on a new contract now, isn't he?
No, I know, but...
Oh, yeah, you're just... Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Russell, did you guys see the silver shin pads?
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I didn't see them.
That's pretty fantastic.
Ooh.
They're
pretty slick.
Yeah, Bruce, we'll have to send you a photo. It's pretty cool. Joel Farabee was placed on IR on Thursday, as was Adam Henrique with a lower body injury. John, you'll love this. Marc-Andre Fleury is the 3rd goalie in NHL history to reach 500 career wins. He reached that milestone in Montreal while recording his 69th career shutout.
Yeah, nice.
Jonathan Toews scored his first regular season goal as well in that game, his first since March of 2020. And then Toews scored in the following game as well. So Jonathan Toews is starting to heat up a little bit. Keep an eye on him.
Good.
Adam Boquist left Thursday's game with an upper body injury. And Anthony Cirelli did not play on Thursday night against the Leafs. He's considered day-to-day. The update on Middlestad is he's actually out indefinitely after undergoing surgery on Friday. Yeah, tough season for him. The New Jersey Devils placed Jonathan Bernier on IR. Igor Shesterkin joined the Rangers practice on Friday. He was stretching. He wasn't ready for today's game. I would assume he's going to be back early next week or mid next week. Bowen Byram is still out. Mike Smith, he's back on the ice for the Oilers. He's practicing on Friday. Sounds like he could play Tuesday. If practice goes well tomorrow, he will play Tuesday.
Be nice to see what he can do.
Yeah, not a moment too soon. Tom Wilson suffered an upper body injury during Friday's contest against Pittsburgh. And the Capitals said Nicholas Backstrom is going to see game action before the Christmas break, so sometime in the next week or two. Matt Duchene is day-to-day with an upper body injury. Gabriel Landeskog left Friday night's game against Detroit with a lower body injury and did not return. He's expected to miss 2 weeks of action due to Friday's injury. Blake Wheeler scored his first goal of the season, power play goal. He had 2 assists before leaving the game with lower body injury. So tough year for Wheeler. He had 10 points in his first, 16 games or 20 games. And finally got on a roll here recently, and now he's back on the shelf. Brock Nelson was activated from IR for the Islanders. Nico Hischier and Ryan Graves are both in COVID protocol. Jacob Chychrun and Ryan Dzingel both suffered upper body injuries on Friday night. John Gibson left Saturday's game against the Penguins with a lower body injury. Anthony Stolarz has been playing great in his absence, so we'll talk about him a bit later. Brady Tkachuk recorded his first hat trick in a 4-0 win over Tampa. Anthony Beauvillier was a scratch for the Islanders. They finally won in their new arena, a 4-2 win over New Jersey. Peter Mrazek returned to the Leafs lineup on Saturday. He was up 4-1, I think. I picked him up off waivers. He was up 4-1 and ended up squeezing it out 5-4. So, Tyler, you know as well as anyone, Mrazek apparently he plays 80s style goaltending.
Yeah, that first goal that he let in, too, was very Koskinen-esque. But he got the win, so
there you go. Zach Hyman left the Oilers game in the third period with an apparent shoulder injury. I haven't heard anything else. Did you guys? I actually missed the play, to be honest, but
that didn't look good.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Alexander Edler left Saturday's game against the Wild with lower body injury. What else we got here? Ryan Johansson, COVID protocol. Braden Shen left tonight's game. He's day-to-day with an upper body injury.
Ugh.
Yeah. So his season...
Going to need another
season
IR slot.
Yeah. God. Okay, so that's it for the news, guys. There's a lot again this week. So let's move on to Ask the Hacks.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Listeners considering a trade proposal, send Elias Lindholm, Tyson Barrie, and Carter Hart for Nikita Kucherov. The listener has Ben Bishop and Tuukka Rask on IR. Other active goalies are Tristan Jarry, Thatcher Demko, and Semyon Varlamov. I think we talked about it earlier in the week. For me, that's a go. Even with Ben Bishop now just being out. But, I mean, Tyson Barrie hasn't done much. Carter Hart's kind of having a rough year. And Elias Lindholm's been fine. But, I mean, if you can get Kucherov, that makes sense to me. What do you guys think?
I think if you already have...
Kucherov's hurt.
Of course, yeah, no, he is. But I'm, just thinking long term here, right?
I think if you already have Jarry and Demko, Varlamov's all right. But if you already have those two, trading Hart for Kucherov, Lindholm's he's slowed down a bit already. Barry's done nothing.
Yeah.
Really. He's got a bunch of secondary assists and stuff like that. But Bouchard's going to take that spot if the coach ever actually lets him do it, especially on the power play.
Yeah.
I'd do that for sure.
Okay. Would you trade JT Miller for Braden Point? Points only league. John, I'll go to you because
Yes.
I know you're a Braden Point guy. So.
Yes, I was going to say yes because I'm on the Braden Point hype train. So.
Okay.
And definitely not the JT Miller.
In a points only league, I could see that argument. Like, if it's a bangers league, JT Miller probably has more value. Like, we've talked about in the past, like Braden Point, he doesn't always produce at a point per game pace in the regular season, right? He's phenomenal in the playoffs.
Right.
But JT Miller, he's always producing at a 70 to 80 point clip, and he provides some other category coverage. So because it's points only, I'd say, maybe you do it, but I don't know. Bruce, Tyler, what do you think?
I'd do it.
Tyler's waffling.
I'm waffling.
No reasoning, just do it. Yeah, Point's biggest problem is he's injured. He never puts the full season in. So.
That is a problem for sure.
Okay, just get another IR slot. Just talk to Devin.
Yeah, throw another one on there. Why don't we have 5?
Hey, whatever.
Anytime now. I got it filled.
Okay, so with Mitch Marner going on IR, would Pavel Buchnevich be a good substitute for the right side? Thanks again. Love the show.
Was that
yeah,
from you,
I mean,
Devin? Was
no,
that
that's
question from you?
nope. That was a legitimate listener said. Thanks again. Love the show. So,
Wow.
not good. Yeah. We actually get some compliments, Tyler, if you can believe it.
Holy hell.
Beauty.
Yep.
I don't know why. But...
Holy hell. Yeah, here we go. I mean, I would try to keep Buchnevich and Marner regardless, right? Buchnevich has been off to a great season so far for the Blues.
Yep.
So, yeah, to answer the question, I think he's a good fit while Marner's out. And then when Marner comes back, I would look at my roster seriously and try to just make room for both. Any difference of opinion on that one, guys?
Nope.
Well, Buchnevich is putting up better numbers than Marner is right now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. There you have it. Trade offer: acquire Evgeny Kuznetsov for Nikolai Eelers. Do I
In
do
a
it?
heartbeat.
What's that, Bruce?
Or sorry, the other way around. I would acquire. No, I wouldn't trade Eelers. Sorry, I read that backwards.
Yeah, so you're acquiring Kuznetsov for Eelers.
No, not a chance. Run away.
Kuznetsov has been surprisingly really good to start the year, but I think that's going to taper off when Backstrom gets back.
comes back.
Yeah.
And so when the listener, I think it was through Instagram, this one, or it could have been Twitter, but that's sort of what I mentioned. I think Kuznetsov's been really good, and actually looking at the numbers, it's probably sustainable. But then, like you said, the Backstrom thing just throws a wrench into it all. So Nikolai Eeler's.
Wow, his numbers are a lot better.
Yeah, like Kuznetsov has substantially better numbers actually, but when you look at the underlying numbers, Eeler's creates a ton more chances. Like when you look at individual Corsi for, individual scoring chances for, individual high danger chances for, he's like I'd have to go back and look, but it's almost double like what Kuznetsov is doing, and they play different styles too, right? Like Eeler's is more of a goal scorer, and so I it's actually not that far off, I don't think, but this season, and I mean, Bruce, you've had Kuznetsov in the past. That's probably what you're saying, Ron.
Yep. I've had both of them in the past.
Yeah.
And yes, I would run from Kuznetsov.
Okay.
I think once Backstrom comes back, Kuznetsov's going to go on another sabbatical.
It'll be interesting to see.
It's possible. I think I drafted him in like the 9th or 10th round too.
Way
Kuznetsov.
too early.
He has confidence again, though. So, like, I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he'll continue playing well. And because he's played so well, like, the best case scenario for the Capitals is that both guys are going, right? They're not going to just sit Kuzi now because Backstrom's back. Like,
I think they're hoping that Kuznetsov does have better numbers because it'll make him easier to trade in the offseason because I have read that they tried to trade him here in the offseason and they couldn't get any takers for him, not for what his contract is. So
no. No, it's a big contract.
I drafted him 189.
That's pretty good value.
That's good value right there.
That's pretty good value, yeah. Okay, next question. Do I drop Seguin for Zegras? No keepers.
yes, absolutely.
Bruce couldn't hit the button fast enough.
No.
Yeah, I would. Just based on...
I hate to. Yeah.
Well, based on what we've seen from Seguin this year, right?
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, it pains me to say it, but yeah, I agree.
Well, Sagan's playing on the 3rd and 4th line. Like, he's not even playing in the top 6 anymore.
Yeah, Ben sucks too. Radulov sucks.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's It's all the young guys now for
They all
Dallas.
suck.
Except Pavelski. Pavelski's been fantastic.
Yeah,
but
Pavelski's just
that guy's
Yeah, but he's on the list, so.
I don't. He doesn't have long hair. He does there's nothing strange about him that you should hate him, John. But you just for some reason you can't handle the guy. Will Peter Mrazek claim the number one goaltending duties from Jack Campbell once he's back?
no.
Only if Campbell gets injured.
Yeah. This was on Twitter. This is a question that came up, and I just said absolutely not.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, that was actually kind of what I said. I think. Yeah, thanks for the question. We never want to criticize the questions, or just answer whatever you want, or ask whatever you want to ask. We're just gonna try and be polite about it, right, guys? No, Peter Mrazek will not claim the number one goaltending spot.
I'll put myself on the
Better
list.
not.
Jack Campbell has been amongst the league leaders, I think, over the past this calendar year. I think I look back and the only goaltender that had better peripherals was Jeremy Swayman, but it was in half the games. I think it was 24 games or something, whereas Campbell had put up godly numbers in 45 games. So, no, that will not happen. Would you trade Victor Hedman for Adam Fox? Head-to-head points, keeper league.
Yes.
I agree.
I think I would.
Yeah, I agree. Points league for sure.
Yeah, Fox has been great. The Rangers have been great this year. Go for it. And yeah, if because it's a keeper league, right? Adam Fox is younger. Norris Trophy winner.
New York's on the way up too. Not that Tampa's completely on the way down, but it's on the horizon.
Yeah, totally. Which one of these players should I grab off waivers? Nino Niederreiter, Ryan Johansson, or Drake Batherson? It's Batherson for me. I don't know the categories if it's a bangers league or not, but Johansson's actually, like you said, in COVID protocol. Nino Niederreiter to me is just kind of a spot starter or streamer, and Batherson's pretty good. So, any other takes on that? Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Good stuff. That's it, guys, for Ask the Hacks this week. Thank you to everyone that submitted questions. For next week, if you want to submit your own question, send us an email, fantasyhockeyhacks@gmail.com, or just hit us up on social media. Now it's probably a good time to tell you guys that the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is a proud partner of NHLshop.ca, your best source for all your officially licensed NHL apparel and merchandise. Follow the links in our show notes or on our website. If you're looking for the perfect holiday gift, save up to 50% on select apparel now and get free shipping on orders over $99. Use promo code NHLFS99 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details. Full disclosure, Fantasy Hockey Hacks may receive a small commission for your purchase, which helps us to continue providing original content and financing Tyler's gambling needs at Sports Interaction.
And I need it.
Nailed it. That takes us to Edgework, guys, the segment where we do the work to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey league. And yes, John is laughing at me for it, but I have to say it. So, NHL schedule, Week 10. Week 10 gets back to normal, guys. The majority of teams are playing 3 games. A couple teams are playing 2, and the remainder are playing 4. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday are packed schedules with at least 10 games played on each night. All this information is in the show notes, so if you want to go to the website, fantasyhockeyhacks.com, check it out. It's all there. But Monday, 1 game. Tuesday, 14 games. Wednesday, 3 games. Thursday, 11. Friday, 6. Saturday, 10. And Sunday, 8. And let's get into it. A few teams that we want to focus on for the upcoming week. Teams with 4 games. So, like I said, there's quite a few here. Boston, Carolina, Calgary, Chicago, LA, New Jersey, Nashville, Ottawa, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver, and Vegas. The first team up here is the Boston Bruins. I'm going to reference something here from Left Wing Lock. If you guys want to check out the weekly schedule tool at leftwinglock.com, they've got all the information there. It's also on the iPhone app. But they list strength of schedule, and higher numbers indicate a more difficult schedule. Lower numbers, even negative numbers indicate an easier schedule. The Bruins have a negative 34 rating for their schedule for next week. They've got games against the Golden Knights, the New York Islanders, the Montreal Canadiens, and the Ottawa Senators. Those teams have a collective record of 33, 54, and 9. The Bruins are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. So, if you're looking for some players, take a look at Boston. Taylor Hall, Charlie Coyle, Craig Smith, and Matt Grzelcyk are all available in most leagues. Taylor Hall is a bit high at 67% owned last I checked, but those other guys should be available, so take a look. Teams with 3 games: Arizona, Buffalo, Columbus. Well, like I said, most of the league. Check the notes. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have the same strength of schedule rating as Boston at -34. They should be on everyone's radar for next week. They've got matchups against the Canadiens, the Sabres, the Devils. They all have a collective record of 24, 41, and 11. Pittsburgh, at the time of writing, they were 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. Evan Rodriguez, we'll talk about him later. Kasperi Kapanen, Jeff Carter, and Danton Heinen are all players you could take a look at. The Dallas Stars have a -2 strength of schedule rating. Again, at the time of writing, I think they've lost 2 games since, but they are 9-1-0 in their last 10 games. They've got a top 5 power play at 26.2%, and they're a top 8 team in goals against at 2.64 goals against per game. So lots of good things going on in Dallas, just not Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, or Alexander Radulov. This one kind of pains me, guys. I don't know. The Philadelphia Flyers, they're in here because their strength of schedule is -39. They've got matchups against the Devils, the Canadiens, and the Senators. So, proceed with caution on that one. Travis Konechny seems to have kind of got going here recently, and Cam Atkinson and Kevin Hayes are available pretty much everywhere, at least in 50% of leagues. I don't know. Do you guys like the recommendation? I'm not sure. It's kind of Philly. You can take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
It's really hard to recommend Philly, but
Yeah.
like you say, the strength of the schedule is there, so the chances are there. But if they can take advantage of that, you never know.
These are the games that Philly needs to win.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not recommending go out there and grab Martin Jones. Like I'm not saying that, but I mean if Konechny's available, he's actually only 31% rostered right now. So maybe a guy you want to take a look at. Cam Atkinson, same thing. Some valuable players that have low ownership, and the schedule looks good for next week. So, and that brings us to teams with 2 games: Anaheim and San Jose. Anaheim has, I think, the best strength of schedule for next week at -48. They play two bottom dwelling teams in the Seattle Kraken and Arizona Coyotes. They've got a collective record of 14, 32, and 4. Again, we've talked about them lots, but Trevor Zegras, Rickard Rakell, Sonny Milano, they're still widely available. The highest ownership is Trevor Zegras at 61%. He might be higher now, but at the time of writing, it was 61%. So if I can grab one of those guys.
And they're off-night games, too.
Yes, as an added bonus. And then there's actually, I didn't mention him here, but we'll talk about him in the waiver wire pickups, is Anthony Stolarz, because John Gibson is out with injury. So keep that in mind. And I guess with that, let's move on to NHL Week 10 waiver wire targets, starting with Evan Rodriguez. Tyler, yes or no?
Yep.
As Tyler quickly Googles, who's Evan Rodriguez?
Yeah, who? Yeah.
He actually plays really.
Come on, Tyler, take more time on this one.
He actually does play really well. Like he's a surprise coming from Buffalo too. Just kind of in there all the time. 34%, but playing with Crosby's just kind of getting back into it. I would definitely look at him if you're in a deeper league.
Yeah, they've got a good schedule for next. Like we just said, like the strength of schedule is good. Yeah, lineup's good, and looking at his analytics and his numbers too, like he's on pace for 60 points right now. And he's been shooting more. He's up to 3.4 shots on goal per game. And all of his analytics are kind of in line with what we expect. So I would scoop him up now and probably for long term, if possible.
Yep.
Yeah, good depth player.
Next up, Jordan Eberle. What's that, Tyler?
He's a good depth player to have on your roster. The bottom end of it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Jordan Eberle got next year, rostered 33% of Yahoo leagues. Got 4 games for next week: San Jose, Anaheim, Edmonton, and Toronto. He's playing on that top line with Jaden Schwartz and Alexander Wenberg, and on power play 1. He's on pace for 58 points. He's got 17 points and 12 goals through 24 games. He's had a good season. He's surprisingly low ownership for a guy that's done as much as he has this year.
He's consistent year over year, right? That's right where around he is, 60 points ish, give or take a few. That's what he does.
Yeah, in the last little bit there, it seems he's picked up his game a little bit more too. So, for sure. Definitely a good recommendation.
The only thing on Eberle is his shooting percentage right now. He's at 23.1%. Keep that in mind. Over the past 3 years, his average is 13.9%. So we're going to see a little bit of regression at some point from him, but ride it while it's hot. So take a look at him. Matt Zuccarello. We've talked about him before on the show here, guys. Bruce, I know you're in favor of Matt Zuccarello. He's having a great year. Like, he's, at the time of writing, 21 points, 7 goals, and 20 games played.
The Kaprizov effect.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been glued to Kaprizov all year.
Yeah.
Top line, top power play.
Yeah.
They have a bit of a tougher schedule next week, Carolina and Florida, as well as Buffalo. So not great, but I don't think it really matters. Zuccarello's almost matchup proof, I would say, playing with Kaprizov. Eli Tolvanen. He's rostered in 24% of leagues. They have 4 games next week, and he was playing with Johansson and Kunin, as well as power play 1. He actually had goals in 4 straight games, and he's getting nearly 70% power play share in his most recent game. He's been shooting more this year, 2.7 shots on goal per game versus 1.9 in his career. His individual shooting percentage at 6.9% is actually well below his 3-year average of 11.7%. His IPP is low at 41%, and his secondary assist percentage is low at 20%. So I'd say there's more coming from Tolvanen, and with the news of Johansson being out in COVID protocol, give him a look. Robbie Fabry. Do you have any Robbie Fabry fans in the house? Nope. Tyler's shaking his head at me.
Nope.
Yeah. With Bertuzzi out, he's been a good fit on that top line with Larkin and Raymond, and he's playing on power play 1. He's got 7 points in his last 10 games played, 5 goals. Underlying numbers suggest there's room for some positive regression. So if you're in a deep league, I'd say Fabry's probably a guy to look at, but otherwise I don't know if I'm reaching for him, but I like the lineup placement anyway.
Oh, yeah, I don't like the guy, but he's putting up points.
This one I don't understand, and we've talked about him before, is Oliver Wahlstrom. Tyler's laughing at me.
It's Devin's boyfriend.
Do we talk about him every week?
I don't understand. No, I like Oliver Wahlstrom, but he only gets like 10 minutes of ice time.
Love him. It is frustrating that he basically does not play, and he just scores goals, and they just don't play him anymore. Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
it's like a Dave Tippett with
2. I
Boucher.
think it was yesterday. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. He had 2 assists, I think, the other night. Played 9:58 or something. Like, it was ridiculous. It was under 10 minutes, and
9:49.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 2 assists the game before that, played 10:15. 2 points the game before that, played 12:38. And then, not the prior game before that, but then on the 4th against Detroit, he had 2 goals in 10:33.
So kind of the silver lining in all of this is that Wahlstrom is actually getting power play 1 time, finally. Like, Trotz is gotten off his high horse on that one. And listen, Trotz knows way more than I do, but I just find it incredibly frustrating. Like, why didn't you play the guy more than 10 minutes? It's just baffling to me. Whatever. But take a look at him because he does put up some points. So, Ondrej Kase, right wing for Toronto, 6% owned. They've got 4 games next week coming through Western Canada and Seattle. He got moved up to the top line with Michael Bunting and Austin Matthews, and he's been playing on Power Play 1. He's got 6 points, 4 goals in his last 6 games, playing largely on a third line, actually, but just, like I said, recently got moved up to that top line. So I'd give him a look for next week if you're looking for some help on the wing or just at forward. As long as he can stay healthy. And that's kind of always the question with Kase. But Logan O'Connor, 13% rostered in Yahoo leagues. He's playing on the top line with Landeskog. Well, he was with Landeskog and MacKinnon, but now that Landeskog's out, they're doing some shuffling with the lineups. But he's been good. 5 points, 2 goals in his last 6 games. Again, more of a deep league play or a streamer, but someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Probably the more relevant one is JT Compher. He's been good all season. Center, right wing, eligible, 12% rostered, 3 games for next week as well. He's been playing a lot with Newhook since he's come back from injury and on Power Play 2. He did have a goal, like I said, in his return. He's currently on pace for 63 points. He's got 10 points, 6 goals in 13 games played. He did get 336 power play time on ice and over 60 minutes along with Alex Newhook very recently. So Compher look. And then, like I said, we mentioned Jacob Slavin earlier in the show. He's got 5 points, 1 goal in his last 5 games, and he's been playing some ridiculous minutes. An average of 28.07 in his last 4 games, which includes a career-high 32.28 in Thursday's game against Calgary. Over that same stretch, he's got 2 power play points, and he's playing 75% power play share. And his individual shooting percentage is only 1.9%, which is below his 3-year average of 3.4%. Any hate for Jacob Slavin, John?
No, I got none.
No reason not to like the guy.
No, that's right. He's playing well.
This one's, again, a bit of a reach. Maybe a deep league play is Nicholas Hague. 16% rostered, 4 games for next week against Boston, New Jersey, the Rangers, and the Islanders. He's playing on the top pairing with Alex Pietrangelo. He's on pace for 38 points, and in his past 5 games, he's got 3 assists and 21 shots on goal, which is 4.2 shots on goal per game. He does chip in a few hits, blocks, and PIMs. That pairing with Pietrangelo in 75 minutes together, they've got a +4 goal differential and a 62.9 Corsi for percentage. Kind of limited offensive upside, but if you're looking for a deep play with some help on D, even for DFS stuff, he might be a good option. Justin Falk. Tyler, I know you're a Justin Falk fan. Nope.
Crickets.
Insert
No
crickets.
dice.
59% rostered still. He's currently in COVID protocol, but it looks like he's going to be out within the next 24 to 36 hours. That was on Friday night, I think, so he should be nearing a return. He's got 5 points, 2 goals in his previous 5 games. He's been playing largely with Torrey Krug on the team's second pairing. And actually, they've been pretty good. 57.14 goals for percentage, 61 Corsi for percentage, and a 60.34 scoring chances for percentage. So some things to like there. No power play time to speak of, really, but worth a look. Noah Dobson. Tyler, you like Noah Dobson? No, hey, no, nothing. No love for Noah Dobson.
I'll take him.
Doesn't like anybody.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. Well, 9% rostered. He had 4 points, 3 goals in his last 5 games played. He's settled in as the top power play option for the Islanders, although their power play sucks, so it's not really saying much. But he's finally got power play 1, so that's great. His analytics are in line with what we'd expect. So if you need help on D, that's a guy that can help you offensively, I think, as much as Tyler doesn't like him. Let's move on to goaltenders. Peter Mrazek. again, his peripherals might not be great, so if your league counts save percentage and goals against average, might want to shy away. But he did get the win in his return here, and he's going to split a bit of time here with Jack Campbell. So, and the Leafs are good right now. So, as a spot starter or streamer, I'd give him a look.
Yep.
Pavel Franco, Bruce, you mentioned earlier, like if you can get him in your lineup, especially if you're a Kemper owner.
Absolutely.
I was just looking at his numbers here. So he saved 33 of 34 shots for the Colorado Eagles on Saturday. He got the win. He's got a .944 save percentage in 4 AHL games on his conditioning stint and a 3-1-1 record. He had a .967 save percentage the past 3 games in the AHL.
Very nice.
Yeah, and you just know Kemper's going to go down with injury again at some point. So if you can stash Francouz and just play him when he gets those spot starts, I go for it. And as soon as Kemper goes down, he's going to run hot. So I've also got Tuukka Rask here, guys, just for the fact that I think it's probably the time to start thinking about stashing him.
Yeah, if you've got the space.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you can make that work. There's still no contract in place, but I mean, Bruce Cassidy was saying, yeah, like he's making his way back. We want him here. Swayman's waiver exempt. So, although Ulmerich has been playing much better in his past 3 or 4 games here, but I still think they prefer to have Tuukka Rask back.
If you have 8 IR spots, it's definitely worth a look.
Oh God, we do not have 8. But thanks, Tyler, for your input. I appreciate it.
No problem. Just want to let you know I'm still here.
I was expecting.
Thanks, buddy.
I was expecting you to say something about Slavin and his potential for points on shifts leagues.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear anything about shifts this week. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, John.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, I'm really missing out with Chickering being hurt right now.
Yeah, you're missing those shifts. It's killing you. Last pickup here, guys. Anthony Stolarz in Anaheim, 22% rostered. Just 2 games for next week, but it's against Seattle and Arizona. Stolarz owns a 5-2-1 record with 2 shutouts to go along with a .226 goals against average and a .930 save percentage. With Gibson on the shelf, he's a great internal replacement option. And I'd take a look at him. Any objections?
Nope.
I had him for 2 games
None.
this week. He had a shutout, and he just won in overtime tonight. Made me lose my parlay, but that's fine. I got the win, so that's fine.
Take one for the team.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love to hear
the team.
Tyler's gambling stories. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, guys. Well, is there anything else this week we gotta yak about, or you gotta harass me about shifts again, or we
I'll save it for next week.
Oh no, I got mine. Got mine.
got your jabs in? Okay, good. Yeah, save them for next week.
Absolutely.
All right. So, thanks, guys, for another great episode. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to our listeners as always for chiming in, tuning in. If you have any questions, like I said earlier, fantasyhockeyhacks@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter @FHHacks, on Instagram @fantasyhockeyhacks. Visit us on Facebook, Fantasy Hockey Hacks, facebook.com/fantasyhockeyhacks, and visit our website, fantasyhockeyhacks.com. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Night, everyone.
Take care.